Here we have a buzzard. Oh no.
That's it. Now we can clear the tables and we can all have a drink for bar's open and let's have some fun.
You got back at 6:30 the next morning. No. They are desert falcons, so it's not really surprising that they don't like the rain. And you can see, in fact, he's beautifully coloured for desert terrain because he's a sort of deserty colour himself. Satyrs are the second largest of the falcons in the world. The largest is a falcon called the Goodnock, called the Ger falcon, which comes from the Arctic Circle. And no, we don't have any here because we don't see that wild. This is the satyr is the second largest, and they're found from the Middle East right the way through onto China. Now, when you have a wide range with any bird or animal, I don't know about fish, I must ask one of my fishy friends, you get a lot of variation in size and sometimes in colour. And here we have, in both size and colour, Mr. Average. Now the problem with him is he's a very powerful flyer, and you can see he goes out of sight very quickly. He prefers, if he can, to go off, get a bit of height, come over holding his height, and he likes to do vertical scoots. But you have to wait, because he's somewhere over there. Okay. Now he's wearing a radio transmitter. If you can grab that small boy so it doesn't come out, because this bird moves very fast and I'd hate it to bump into him. The puppies will give up on. Oh God. Could you cease the camera, please, you two? Go and sit down, both of you. Do you want to call them over to you? Rush, Indigo, go over there. Yeah, right. Coming in. Oh. Now you can see we're a lot more powerful. Okay, give up. I'll just move away from them. And he loves to do this, climbing up high and literally dropping down almost vertically. Now I'm not going to push him hard today because yesterday it rained so I couldn't fly him. And he's had a sort of spasmodic week this week. But you can see it is a very, very different style of flying from the Lanner. Now, one of the questions we're asked is, how long does it take to train a bird? Well, the initial training is very, very short. Mostly we get a falcon going loose in about 10 days. Rush, sit down. Good boy. Which is really very short when you consider it. But to get good quality flying, to get it to this sort of standard takes 2 to 3 years. This bird is just beginning to get the idea. And I think he's going to be very, very good indeed. You can see that lovely classic fold as he starts to drop from the stoop, where they tuck their wings in and become almost bullet-shaped. I'm going to let him catch it this time on the ground. Watch how accurate. It's amazing that they can actually do that. Now he hits it, but he doesn't necessarily stop because they haven't always got great brakes. Any minute now, look out for wet puppy alert.
It's come in the water.
It keeps you on your toes, ladies and gentlemen. Now, one of the most important parts of the training, apart from obviously teaching you to come back, which is crucial, is here. Teaching a bird to let you pick it up. Because their natural instinct, except for the very large birds, is to pick up their food and take it away to somewhere safe to eat. Can't look at that. They like to help with the lure line. They're about as helpful as a dead duck. When birds, if they have food, there's a whole load of things out there in the wild that will steal their food, and if they don't give it up, might even eat them. Golden eagles have a habit of eating falcons in America that catch food in the prairies and don't do it. So they don't like to sit in the open, they feel exposed. And if, for example, he was sitting on the lure and that buzzard had come over, some of the falcons will actually try and drag the lure underneath one of the trees so that they're feeling a bit more secure. Or one of mine will just sit and swear like mad at the buzzard. I won't do it. Definitely under people. So we train them not to do that, because if you're going to hunt with a bird of prey, which is why most people have them, then obviously you don't want to take your falcon out, catch your first partridge, have it pick it up and take it to the nearest 80-foot tree with no branches for 70 feet. Because then what you have to do is wait for the thing to finish it, which could, if it was a partridge, be 2 days. You have to be a little bit patient. What's your problem? Now you can see he is sitting here with his wings dropped and his beak is open a little bit. Although it's not quite sunny as it was, it's still a warm, muggy day, and he loses heat like the dogs do by panting. You sweat, he doesn't. Sorry, maybe he's young. And if you didn't blow, you'd be dead. So if you see any of the birds panting, don't worry. It just means that they're losing heat just like you and I. And we are very careful to make sure we don't push them too hard when it's a warm, muggy day. However, if you did a little bit more work, it would be greatly reduced. Why don't you go that side and turn right? You never do turn right, you always turn left. Now, in the wild, satyrs catch a lot of ground game, which is exactly what it says. It's stuff that lives on the ground. Which is why a lot of satyrs don't make particularly exciting demonstration birds, because if they are catching ground game, they don't have to be particularly high. And I've had many satyrs who would make extremely good imitations of lawn mowers, and one that if it flew any lower would have been catching moles.
Thank you so much. That's very kind of you. Would you like to swap for a piece of beef?
Oh, that's lovely.
Would you like to have your lump of whatever that is back? Could you not do what you did with the last lump of wood you just had and chew it up all over the sitting room carpet? You'll have to excuse me. I play with dogs as much as I play with birds. And it's actually very important for the birds because there's almost nowhere in Britain that you can go where you're not going to bump into a dog. So if the birds are good with dogs and fairly relaxed with dogs, it makes life a lot easier. However, the disadvantage is that sometimes the puppies are less helpful than they might be. That for me, thank you. This is my lure stick. This is your lure stick over here. Come on, Indigo. I'm not sure that the next bird who's on actually likes Labrador puppies, so you come with me and bring that with you, and I'm going to disappear. Thank you for watching. Yellow-billed kite. So, if you look at her when she's still flying, she has very, very long, slender wings and a very small, streamlined body. And if you look at her tail, it's quite long, and it's not incredibly broad, but it is quite broad, and that's careful, trying to be a bit too clever now, and she has something called a light wing loading, which means it's a lot easier for her to fly than the satyr falcon you just saw. So actually, she does a lot of drifting round, and not much energy needed for her style of flight, and that's because she's a scavenging bird, and they eat lots of dead things, and they also eat lots of insects. There's nothing there. Look, it's my glove. Right, Lambresco, you ready? Up there? Wow. Oh, well done. Showing off now, Lambresco. Right, I'll do with this end. Look, there's another bit there. Wow. So, in the wild,
This is called the king vulture. Funny looking bird.
Beautiful colours. Look at the creams.
It's got a bald head. What a strange looking bird.
Look at the colour.
It's my favourite bird.
This is your favourite, isn't it? The red colour.
Yeah.
Why do you like them so much then? Why do you like them so much?
Just a hooded vulture. Yellow-billed kite. Here's a prairie falcon. Oh, they're nice looking as well. That's called a prairie falcon. He is a caracara.
No?
And he likes going up there. There's two of them. Look, there's one there as well.
This one, that one you thought was Brazilian. Yeah, that's a Brazilian.
What's this one, Jen? Is there one in there?
Yes, I can.
What's that one called, Jen? Short-eared owl. Yeah, it's a long-eared owl. A brown wood owl. His eyes, when he closes his eyes.
Is that where he went to a train? No one is saying it's straight.
Ah, this is a buzzard. This is what we see. Yeah, this is what we see.
Enjoy yourself.
Yeah. Looks a bit old, doesn't it? There's two peregrine falcons in there. These are African fish eagles. Wow, beautiful. Can feel the rain. Just felt a bit of rain, I think.
Wow.
These are Verou's eagles.
Wow, look at those white birches. Well, look at this man.
And this is the famous golden eagle.
At the top.
And there's one there as well.
Where?
At the front. That's the golden eagle.
They're molting at the moment, you see.
They are big.
Look at those white tail feathers.
They're lovely. It's a red kite. Gosh, look at these beautiful markings.
Look, it's there. If you look at him when he's on the fence, he's got a black line of feathers around his face. And that's his facial disc. It helps him when he's hunting. So, Rockling, behind you. Rockling. Thank you. So, black line of vulture family. We actually have followed a sort of a similar line because these birds here are not related to the other birds of prey either. In fact, these birds are more closely related to the stork family. Their closest living relations are members of the storks and the cranes. You can turn back around and catch it when I'm pulling it away from her. So she knows what she's doing. So I'd like to think, so you get a peregrine falcon which just goes flat out and everything. Land falcons like to go off, think a little bit more about what they're doing, and they try to use everything to their advantage as camouflage. And before we had that wooden fence in front of you lot, there just used to be a piece of rope with posts in the ground. And another land falcon was trying a demonstration called Hector. He thought it would be a good idea. They are going to come on the right hand side, left hand side, you're looking at the tree, over your head now.
Cool.
The higher one on the left hand side is Arapaho, the other one is Abenaki. They're two sub-adult black kites. They're now 2 years old. They were named in the same year when all the birds were named after Native American tribes. And I suspect the birds are probably watching the Arapaho because I've seen that Abenaki has sat itself down already. Arapaho indeed is the one directly out in front of you. Now these two birds weren't actually bred here at the centre. They were bred down at the Hawk Conservancy in Andover. We work very closely with collections both throughout this country and indeed the rest of the world, working exchanges. And I believe these two actually came here and exchanged some African fish eagles. It just depends what things various people are breeding at certain times of the year. Now, these are, as I say, black kites, which are built in a very, very sort of special way. They are something that has known as a light wing loading. They are designed to do exactly what they're doing at the moment. Unfortunately, Arapaho decided to go and do it over the car park. So we'll save you money and stay out there. He's on his way back. They have a very large wing and tail area in comparison to a very light body weight. And what they are looking for at the moment is natural energy off the earth to enable them to be able to get around without actually having to do any work. What they have learned is if you follow a bushfire, you have two huge advantages. The first one is that, as we all know, fire produces heat, hot air rises. There's a wild sparrowhawk, I think, going off over the top of the trees there. Sparrowhawk or a kestrel being mobbed by all the smaller birds. Classic behaviour from the smaller birds. They recognise the style of a predator and they'll just try and keep themselves above it, keep the predator as low as possible, because they know that's where they're the safest. It just goes to show we have all sorts of wild birds around here, as well as the birds that we actually fly on a regular basis. Going back to the bushfires, they've learned to sit just in front of a bushfire because the hot air keeps them airborne without them having to do any work. And there's a lot of small insects trying to escape the flames and get away. So they can very quickly get their entire daily intake of food. This is Dusky Empress. She's a Chilean blue eagle, or a grey buzzard eagle, or a black-chested buzzard eagle, depending who you're talking to and which books you're reading. It's all one of the same bird. Ho! Good girl. Excuse the loud shout, I have no one deaf. She's a bird that has come onto the flying team from a slightly unusual angle because we're very proud of the fact that here at the National Birds of Prey Centre we do lead the world in captive breeding. And normally when a new species of birds arrives, what we try and do is get a male and a female, put them into an aviary together and let nature take its course. We then consider flying any of the subsequent youngsters. Well, back in